She thought she married a broke janitor to save her family, but when she found his black credit card hidden in a drawer, everything changed. He wasn't just rich. He was a $4.7 billion CEO who had been living a lie. This is their story. Sophia Chen's hands trembled as she stared at the eviction notice. 3 months behind on rent. How had their perfect life crumbled so quickly? Her father appeared in the doorway, looking decades older than he had just 6 months ago. Sophia, we need to talk. If this is about me taking that job at Uncle Way's restaurant, I already told you I'd do it. It's too late for that. He sat down heavily on their worn couch. There's only one option left. A man has offered to clear all our debts. Every single one. Sophia's stomach dropped. What kind of man makes that offer? His name is Alexander Reed. He works maintenance at one of the office buildings downtown. A maintenance worker has hundreds of thousands of dollars lying around. Her father wouldn't meet her eyes. He claims it's family money. Some inheritance. I didn't ask too many questions because... Dad, what did you promise him? The silence stretched between them like a chasm. Dad, what did you promise him? Your hand in marriage. He wants to marry you, Sophia. The room spun. You sold me? Like I'm some kind of... Your mother has 6 months to live without the experimental treatment. Your brother will have to drop out of medical school. We'll lose everything. His voice cracked. I had no choice, Sophia. The wedding is in 1 week. I already signed the contract. Sophia spent the next 3 days investigating. Alexander Reed. No social media presence. No digital footprint. The man was a ghost. She went to the building where he supposedly worked, asking questions, trying to find anything about this stranger she was being forced to marry. Finally, an older security guard pulled her aside. You're asking about Alex? Why? I'm supposed to marry him. The guard's eyebrows shot up. That quiet guy in maintenance? Look, miss, I don't know your situation, but Alex is decent. Keeps to himself. Works hard. Never causes problems. What about his personal life? Friends? Family? None that I've seen. He's alone. Always has been. Their first meeting was in a sterile lawyer's office for the prenup signing. When Alexander Reed walked in, Sophia's first thought was that he didn't look like a maintenance worker. Yes, he wore worn jeans and a simple jacket, but the way he carried himself, there was something underneath. Something carefully hidden. He was handsome in an understated way. Dark hair, serious eyes, and a face that revealed absolutely nothing. Miss Chen. He nodded politely. Mr. Reed. Her voice was ice cold. Let's be clear about something. I'm only doing this for my family. Don't expect anything from me beyond what's legally required. I wouldn't dare. His tone matched hers. This is a business arrangement. Nothing more. Good. Then we understand each other. But as he signed the prenup, Sophia noticed his hands. They weren't rough and calloused like a maintenance worker should be. There were calluses, yes, but they looked wrong. Too deliberate. Too calculated. The courthouse wedding took exactly 11 minutes. No guests except their parents. No celebración. No joy. Alexander slipped a simple silver ring on her finger, his hand steady while hers shook with suppressed rage. There was no kiss. No romantic moment. Just signatures and legal binding. I've arranged an apartment for us, Alexander said as they left the courthouse. Nothing fancy, but clean. 2 bedrooms. I hope it's acceptable. Does it matter if it's not? He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something flickered in those dark eyes. Yes, it actually matters to me very much. The apartment was modest but surprisingly tasteful. Alexander immediately took the smaller bedroom without discussion. I work early mornings and late nights, he explained, unpacking a single duffel bag. You probably won't see me much. Perfect, but it wasn't perfect, because Alexander Reed was nothing like Sophia expected. He left fresh coffee every morning before disappearing at 5 a.m. He bought groceries, expensive, high-quality ones that made no sense on a maintenance salary. He cooked elaborate meals and left them in the fridge with handwritten notes. Reheat at 350 for 20 minutes. Hope your day was better than yesterday. Sophia hated that the food was delicious. She hated more that he never asked for thanks or acknowledgement. 2 weeks into their strange arrangement, Sophia's job interview at a prestigious marketing firm went horribly wrong. She came home fighting tears, furious at herself for being so emotional. Alexander was there unexpectedly, working on his laptop at the dining table. You're home early, she said, quickly wiping her eyes. He looked up, saw her face, and his expression shifted. Genuine concern crossed his features. Bad day. None of your business. He nodded without argument and returned to his work. But 5 minutes later, he appeared with a cup of tea. He set it down without a word and retreated to his room, giving her space. Sophia stared at the tea. It was prepared exactly how she liked it. 1 sugar, splash of milk, steeped for exactly 4 minutes. How'd he know that? She started watching him after that. Really watching. The way he spoke was too educated, too articulate for someone who'd supposedly worked manual labor his whole life. His bookshelf held titles on corporate strategy, advanced economics, and philosophy. One book had a bookmark from Harvard Business School. Late at night, she'd hear him on phone calls behind his closed door. Once, she pressed her ear against it, listening. "Tell the board I'll handle it when I'm ready." "No, Marcus, move the acquisition timeline to next quarter. I don't care about their concerns. The numbers speak for themselves." The voice was commanding, authoritative, nothing like the quiet man who made her coffee each morning. When Alexander suddenly opened the door, she jumped back, caught red-handed. "Did you need something?" His face was carefully neutral, but his eyes were sharp, calculating. Sorry, I was just..." She had no excuse. "Good night, Sophia." He closed the door gently but firmly. 3 weeks into their marriage, everything got stranger. Someone knocked on their door at 10 p.m. Sophia answered to find a woman in an expensive designer suit, looking distinctly annoyed. "I need to speak with Alexander Reed immediately." "Is he here?" "Who are you?" "Jennifer Hartley, his attorney. We have an urgent matter." Alexander appeared behind Sophia, his entire demeanor changing. His face went cold, almost dangerous. "Jennifer, I specifically told you not to come here. We have a situation. The Singapore acquisition is collapsing and the board needs..." The attorney noticed Sophia watching intently. "Perhaps we should discuss this privately?" "No need. We're done here." Alexander's voice was pure steel. "Handle yourself. That's what I pay you for." He closed the door directly in the attorney's face. Sophia stared at him, her mind racing. "Your attorney? You have a personal attorney who handles acquisitions. Family matters. Related to the inheritance I mentioned." "Right. The mysterious inheritance." Sophia's voice dripped with sarcasm. "Tell me something, Alexander. What kind of maintenance worker has Harvard business books, takes calls about corporate acquisitions, and has high-powered attorneys showing up at his door after 10 p.m.? A complicated one. Try again with the truth this time." Alexander looked at her for a long, tense moment. "What exactly do you want me to say, Sophia?" "I want you to tell me who you really are. I'm your husband. That's all you need to know right now." "That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give you." He moved past her toward his bedroom. "I have work early tomorrow. Good night." The next day, Sophia did something she wasn't proud of. While Alexander was at his supposed maintenance job, she went through his room. She found his wallet buried in a drawer. Inside was a credit card she'd never seen him use. Not just any credit card. A black card. The kind reserved for the ultra-wealthy with no spending limit. The name embossed on it. Alexander J. Reed. Her hands shaking, she pulled out her phone and Googled the name. The search results made her dizzy. Alexander Reed, Chief Executive Officer of Reed Global Enterprises. Net worth, $4.7 billion. One of the most powerful, influential men in the entire country. There were articles, Forbes features, business profiles. The photos were from several years ago. Him in expensive tailored suits, looking polished and powerful, but those eyes were unmistakable. One article from 3 years ago mentioned his late wife, Elena Reed, deceased from cancer. They'd been married for only 3 years. The article described him as a reclusive billionaire who rarely gave interviews and avoided the spotlight whenever possible. Sophia's phone slipped from her trembling hands and clattered to the floor. When Alexander came home that evening, Sophia was waiting in the living room, the black credit card sitting on the coffee table between them. "I found your credit card. I Googled your name." He froze completely in the doorway. For the first time since she'd met him, Alexander Reed looked genuinely afraid. "Sophia, please let me." "Don't." Her voice was shaking with rage. "Don't you dare try to explain this away with more lies. You're a billionaire. You're literally one of the richest, most powerful men in the world. And you've been what? Playing dress-up as a maintenance worker? Marrying desperate women for some sick entertainment. It's not what you think. Then what I asked it, Alexander? Because from where I'm standing, you're either a complete psychopath or you're running the most elaborate, cruel con I've ever seen." "Neither." His voice cracked. "God, Sophia, it's neither of those things." "Then tell me the truth. All of it. Right now." Alexander set down his work bag with shaking hands. When he looked up at her, his eyes were filled with a pain so raw, almost made her step back. "You want the whole truth?" "Fiend." He took a shuddering breath. "My wife died 4 years ago. Cancer. Before she died, she made me promise something. She made me swear that I would find love again. Real love. Not someone who wanted my money or my power or my connections. Someone who could actually love me. The real me." Sophia's anger wavered slightly, but she stayed silent. "But how do you find that when you're me?" His laugh was bitter, broken. "When everyone you meet sees the billions first and the person never. When every woman who approaches you has calculated exactly what you're worth before they even say hello. So you decided to lie instead?" I decided to disappear. Alexander ran his hands through his hair, agitated. I created a false employment record. Took a maintenance position at a building I actually own. I wanted to be invisible for once in my life. To see who people really were when they thought I was nobody important. And you saw me. I saw you. His voice softened despite everything. I watched you for months, Sophia. I saw you thank the cleaning staff by name. I saw you help an elderly woman carry her groceries to her car. I saw you treat everyone exactly the same, regardless of their job title or social status. You were genuinely kind when you thought absolutely no one was watching. So you manipulated my father's bankruptcy to trap me? No. Alexander's response was fierce, almost desperate. I swear on my wife's grave, I had absolutely nothing to do with your family's financial troubles. That was completely real. I didn't cause it or contribute to it in any way. But you took advantage of it. He looked away, shame written across his face. Yes. God help me, yes. When I heard about your situation, when I learned you were engaged to Jason Whitmore. He paused. I know Jason. He's in my industry. He's a user, Sophia. He only wanted your father's business connections. He was already cheating on you with his secretary and 2 other women. Sophia felt like she'd been punched in the stomach. You're lying to deflect. I wish I was. Alexander pulled out his phone with trembling hands, showed her photographs. Jason with other women. Multiple women. Time-stamped over the past year of their engagement. Sophia thought she might be sick. I told myself I was somehow saving you from him. Alexander continued, his voice barely above a whisper. That offering to help your family was noble. But the truth is so much worse. The truth is that I wanted you. I saw a woman who was kind and genuine and everything I've been desperately searching for. And I took advantage of your family's tragedy to get what I wanted. He met her eyes with devastating, brutal honesty. I'm not a good man, Sophia. A truly good man would have helped your family anonymously and walked away. But I was selfish. I wanted a chance with you, even if it meant starting everything with a terrible lie. You should have told me the truth from the beginning. If I had told you I was a billionaire CEO, would you have said yes to marrying me? No, obviously not. Exactly. Alexander moved slowly toward his bedroom. I'll contact my lawyers tomorrow. We'll arrange an annulment immediately. You'll receive a substantial settlement, more than enough to cover your family's needs permanently, your mother's treatments, your brother's education, everything. You'll never have to see me again. Wait. Sophia's voice stopped him at the doorway. Just wait a second. He turned back, hope and fear warring in his expression. These past few weeks, Sophia said slowly, trying to organize her chaotic thoughts. When you came home exhausted every evening. When you made me coffee every morning. When you left me those encouraging notes on bad days. Was any of that actually real? Alexander's eyes filled with tears. All of it. Every single moment was real. That was the most honest, genuine version of myself I've been in 5 years. Why the maintenance job specifically? Why not just be yourself? Because myself is endless lonely board meetings and people constantly wanting things from me. People who see a bank account, not a person. He wiped his eyes roughly. The janitor version of me got to be quiet. Got to work with my hands, doing simple, honest work. Got to talk to you in the elevator without you immediately calculating my net worth. His voice cracked completely. That version of me got to fall in love with you without any complications. Sophia's breath caught in her throat. What did you just say? I'm in love with you. The words tumbled out desperately. I know I have absolutely no right to feel this way. I know I deceived you terribly. But living with you these weeks, seeing exactly who you are when the world isn't watching. Sophia, you're everything I've been looking for. You're angry and proud and fiercely kind. You fight for what matters. You. Stop talking. Sophia held up a hand, overwhelmed. Just stop for a second. She paced the small living room, her mind racing through everything. The lies, the manipulation, but also the kindness, the patience, the genuine care she'd felt from him. I don't know if I can trust you, she finally said. You lied about literally everything. I know, you're completely right. But she hesitated, hating herself for what she was about to say. I also don't know if Jason would have been any more honest. Maybe nobody's truly honest in this world. You deserve someone who will be. Maybe I do. Sophia looked at him directly. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to answer every single question I have. No more secrets. No more half-truths. Complete transparency. And then maybe I'll decide if there's anything here worth trying to save. Alexander nodded eagerly. Anything you want to know? I'll tell you absolutely everything. Why maintenance specifically? Why choose that job? My father started his career as a handyman before building his empire from nothing. I wanted to understand where he came from, what shaped him. Alexander's voice was earnest. And honestly, I genuinely like fixing things. It's simple, straightforward, honest work. There's a right way and a wrong way. No politics or manipulation. This apartment. Why live here when you could literally afford anything in the world? Because this is real life. This is what actually matters to real people. He gestured around their modest space. Not penthouses and charity galas and fake smiles. Here, in this space, I'm just Alexander. Not CEO Reed. Not the billionaire. Just a person. Your wife. Tell me about her. Everything. Alexander sat down slowly, and for the first time, Sophia saw him as completely, devastatingly vulnerable. Her name was Elena. We met in college, years before I took over my father's company. She was an art student. She saw the world so differently than everyone else, found beauty in the smallest things. His voice was thick with old grief. When she got diagnosed, all the money in the world meant absolutely nothing. Billions of dollars, and I couldn't save the one person who actually mattered. I'm genuinely sorry for your loss. Before she died, she told me she was terrified for me, said I would throw myself completely into work and forget how to actually live. She made me promise I'd find someone else eventually, someone real who could love me for who I am. He wiped his eyes. I thought she was crazy at the time. How could I possibly love anyone else? But you tried to date. I tried. Dated socialites, businesswomen, even a famous actress once. Every single one of them wanted Alexander Reed, the billionaire. His connections, his money, his power. None of them wanted to know me as a person. He laughed sadly. Then one day, I saw you in an elevator, struggling with a heavy box of office supplies. I offered to help carry it. You looked at me, really looked at me like I was actually a person, and smiled. Said thank you like you genuinely meant it. Like I wasn't just invisible furniture. Sophia did remember that day. It had been months ago, back when her life was still normal. I started finding excuses to be near you after that. The coffee shop you went to every morning. The building lobby during your lunch breaks. I was essentially stalking you, which sounds absolutely terrible when I say it out loud. Because it is terrible, Alexander. You're completely right. It is. He ran a hand through his hair anxiously. But I fell for you over those months. The way you laughed with the elderly receptionist. The way you'd bring homemade cookies for everyone's birthday. You treated every single person like they mattered. Janitors, executives, everyone. You saw people as human beings. So when my family's business collapsed, I saw an opportunity. A terrible, manipulative opportunity that I absolutely shouldn't have taken. His voice was filled with self-loathing. I knew I could help your family. But I also knew that if I approached you as Alexander Reed, billionaire CEO, you'd never see past the money. You'd always wonder if you could trust my motives. If I was using you for something. That's still manipulation and deception. I know. There's no justifying it. 1 month passed. Then 2. Things changed slowly, carefully, painfully. Alexander continued leaving at 5 a.m. for his maintenance job, though Sophia now knew he was going to run his actual company. But he came home every single evening without fail and cooked dinner. They ate together. They talked about their days. He told her about the pressures of managing thousands of employees, the weight of decisions that affected so many lives, the crushing loneliness that came with power. She told him about her abandoned dreams of becoming an art therapist for trauma victims. He listened like every word she said was infinitely precious. He never pushed for anything physical, never demanded anything, just waited patiently while she processed everything. And slowly, so slowly she almost didn't notice, Sophia felt the defensive walls around her heart beginning to crack. One evening, they were cooking together. It had become their ritual. Alexander was attempting to teach her his mother's recipe for pasta carbonara. You're absolutely terrible at this, he laughed as she broke yet another egg yolk. Shut up. Not everyone grew up with fancy cooking lessons. I didn't have cooking lessons. My mom insisted on cooking herself every night, no matter how successful my father became. She said it kept our family grounded in reality. Was she right? Alexander looked at her with such softness it made her heart ache. She was right about a lot of things. Like what? She told me once that real love isn't about grand romantic gestures or expensive gifts. It's about showing up consistently. Every single day, even when it's difficult. He held her gaze. Especially when it's difficult. Alexander, I'm not asking for anything from you, Sophia. I just want you to know that I'm here. I'm showing up. Every single day. For as long as you'll allow me to. Everything changed completely when Jason showed up unexpectedly. He cornered Sophia outside their apartment building one evening as she was coming home from a job interview. Sophia, please. Just listen to me for 2 minutes. I have absolutely nothing to say to you, Jason. Your husband isn't who you think he is. Do you have any idea who Alexander Reed actually is? What he's capable of? Yes, I know exactly who he is. Jason blinked in surprise. You know he's the CEO of Reed Global Enterprises? That he's worth billions. I'm aware. Then you must know he's using you somehow. This whole situation is some twisted power play. He's done this kind of thing before, manipulated people, destroyed competing companies. He's absolutely ruthless in business, Sophia. Dangerous. You don't know him at all. And you do? You've been married for what, 2 months total? I've known him in the business world for years. He's a shark who destroys anything in his path. Sophia felt anger rising hot in her chest. He's more honest than you ever were with me. At least he eventually told me the truth. You were cheating on me for an entire year. That was a mistake. I am genuinely sorry. Jason moved closer. But Sophia, be realistic. You can't actually believe a man like Alexander Reed loves you. Men like him don't love. They acquire things. They make strategic moves. Get away from me, Jason. Now, Sophia, I still care about you. Let me help you. A hand landed firmly on Jason's shoulder. Alexander appeared, his face absolutely cold in a way Sophia had never seen. She asked you to leave. I suggest you do so immediately. Jason sneered. There he is, the big bad billionaire himself. What are you going to do, Reed? Buy out my company? Ruin my career with a phone call? No. Alexander's voice was eerily calm. I'm going to walk away with my wife. And you're going to realize that not everything in this world is a business transaction. Some things actually matter more than money or power. He took Sophia's hand gently, the first time he'd really touched her in weeks. She let him, her fingers curling around his. As they walked toward their building, Jason called out desperately, "She'll never actually love you for real, Reed. She'll always wonder if it's genuine or just another manipulation." Sophia felt Alexander's hand tighten almost imperceptibly around hers. Inside their apartment, Alexander immediately released her hand, stepping back to give her space. I am sorry. I shouldn't have touched you without explicitly asking permission first. He's wrong. Sophia's voice cut through his apology. Jason, he's completely wrong about everything. Alexander looked at her, confused and hopeful. I do love you. The words spilled out before she could stop them. I've been fighting it for weeks now, telling myself I shouldn't feel this way, that you lied, that I can't trust you. But the truth is, Sophia, you don't have to say anything. The truth is that the man I fell for, the one who makes terrible coffee and burns toast every single morning and leave me encouraging notes, that man is absolutely real. He's you, the actual you. She moved closer. The CEO is part of you. The billionaire is part of you. But so is the man who sits with me watching terrible reality television. The man who cried telling me about his wife. The man who's been patient and kind and brutally honest for 2 months straight. Alexander's eyes were shining with tears. You love me? Really? I love you. Both versions. All versions of you. She reached up, touching his face gently. I love the man who fixed my broken dresser drawer without being asked. And I love the man who runs a massive global company. Because they're the same person underneath. Sophia, his voice broke completely. But if you ever lie to me again about anything at all, we're done. No second chances. Do you understand? I understand completely. I swear to you. No more lies. Ever. About anything. Good. She smiled through her own tears. Now, kiss me, you complicated, secretive, wonderful man. 6 months later, Sophia stood in the elegant ballroom of Reed Global's headquarters, watching Alexander give his annual address to the company's employees. He wore an expensive suit now. No more hiding, no more pretending. He'd introduced her publicly as his wife, told key people the entire unusual story of how they met. Some people judged them. Most understood that love takes strange paths sometimes. After his speech, he found her easily in a crowd, like he always could. How did I do? Very impressive. Very so-like and professional. God, I hate that version of myself sometimes. Liar. You love your job and the challenges it brings. I love you more. He kissed her softly, not caring who was watching. Ready to go home? To the apartment? Actually, he looked adorably sheepish. I may have purchased us a house, but it's not huge, I promise. Well, it's moderately sized. Reasonable. It has a garden area. I thought you could potentially use it for your art therapy program when you're ready to start. Sophia kissed him to stop his nervous rambling. You're absolutely impossible. Is that a yes to the house? That's a yes to everything. As they left together, hand in hand, Sophia thought about their strange journey. The lies that started everything. The painful truth that followed. The messy, complicated, imperfect path to real love. Sometimes the best things in life come wrapped in deception. But what truly matters isn't how something starts. It's whether you have the courage to fight for the truth when it finally appears. And she found a man worth fighting for, even if he still made absolutely terrible coffee every single morning.